Hello, everyone. My name is Ankit Pramar, and I am back in the studios of Desi Junction here with another exciting guest in our studio today. As many of you know, Desi Junction has been privileged with the involvement of the grand opening of AVE. It was a phenomenal launch, and many folks have wanted to learn more about AVE, who are the people behind it, and what is so special about this brand. So, joining me today, I have Amit Shah, the owner of AVE Chicago. Amit, welcome to Desi Junction. First of all, how are you feeling? You have just launched your store in Chicago. What are your initial thoughts?
I'm doing great. I think since the grand opening, we have just been overwhelmed with the amount of positive energy, amount of positive feedback, the amount of clients that we've been growing. Like it's been like a shell shock to us because we just did not expect such an overwhelming like positive energy coming back to us. So
Wonderful.
we have the team and myself. We've all been enjoying it. It's been great. There's just so much going on, and it's all good. Like we're happy.
Wonderful. Were you expecting to be get this type of response so quickly?
Part of me was like yes, and part of me was a little skeptical because being obviously a new brand, bringing a new business, there's just so much unexpected territory that you don't know what's going to happen. Part of me was like I expected like some like good feedback coming back afterwards because we expected like we just launched, people started spreading the word, but the second week's feedback did not expect that much volume to come
Wow.
through. But like okay, maybe it might slow down, maybe it might not, and it actually was a good positive like force coming through. So it was like, okay, great. I did not expect it, but now it's like it's just continuously being busy here, which has been a great situation for us.
That is wonderful. Just wanted to kind of dive in more and learn about you, actually, Amit. So, a lot of people are familiar with Ave. A lot of people have seen your store, been seen the beautiful dresses, seen the beautiful pictures and seen the beautiful coverage that Daisy Junction did that you can see on our YouTube channel. But really, I'm excited and interested to get to know how does a kid who grew up in the northwest suburbs of Chicago end up being such a big part of this big Indian fashion brand and what really led him to it.
So it's a very interesting story. So to start, like when I started going into fashion, I was about 18 when I started my first ever retail job in general. I worked at Guess Jeans at the mall. And so I was a retail associate there and was just doing it for gas money basically. Did not expect it to grow from that. Then did some other like random retail jobs. Like I worked at Banana Republic before as a seasonal. I've worked for Macy's as a beauty merchandiser. And then I've done this, like the whole Indian aspect. So the way the Indian aspect started was actually weirdly, I was in between jobs. So I kind of like left my parents' family business, which they own Dunkin' Donuts. And I kind of went towards aviation in the sense of I worked at Air India as a check-in
Nice.
counter person, which
Wow.
is a really random move from franchisee to Air India counter.
So you worked
Um,
at Guess Jeans, then you worked at
Banana
your first
Republic and
Dunkin'
all these others,
Donuts.
and then
Oh,
went
so
to
you did.
fashion.
All right, let's back. Guess Jeans, Banana Republic, Macy's Beauty Consultant, Dunkin' Donuts, Air India.
And then I went into fashion.
Then you went into fashion. All right, so
Yeah, it was a very weird situation. So it's like, um, I went. So I was actually listening to BBC Asian Network's like interview with Manish Malhotra, and I think it was because, or it was like something related to that. And I remember reading or listening to Manish Malhotra's speech at Harvard that about him giving about his journey through fashion. So his story basically kind of inspired me to be like at originally I was supposed to do an undergrad in photography and wanted to go fashion photography. So I kind of reapplied back into school because I did my gen eds already, and was go at one school I was at kind of fell apart
mhm,
because they were a profit for profit, not nonprofit.
got
So then
it.
I was like, I kind of like had this epiphany, and I just registered for school again, back to go back to college, and went to Columbia College Chicago, and I submitted my application and everything, and while at orientation, even before at one point I had this epiphany of going, I kind of don't want to do fashion photography. I kind of want to be more in depth in the industry rather than the photography part. So I switched from fashion photography to fashion business and focus on merchandising and everything. So even during orientation, I changed my major like in the middle of my orientation, completely just changed it.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm maybe fashion photography major, minor in business. I switched it all together and just did fashion merchandising as my major.
Wow.
And
So I think the biggest highlight for me right now, as someone who's young and trying to navigate their 20s, trying to navigate their career, is just how many turns you took. And it's I think the biggest lesson for me is it's okay to take those turns. It's
oh
okay
yeah,
to go down different paths. It's okay to go back on what you initially thought on because look at this guy. Just look at him.
literally.
We'll
I
go.
mean, I went from like my parents' family business to something completely opposite to completely something opposite again.
Exactly.
And I think it's just that at that time, that's when Sabyasachi was like actually kind of peaked at the moment. Like he was already well known in India, but he peaked internationally amongst the Indian crowd because a lot of kids were like, because his collection was this Alice in Wonderland theme, and social media at that time was blowing up. Now it was like, granted, it was like 2017, and it doesn't feel that far back, but I feel like at that point, Instagram was a whole different world. Snapchat was a whole different world. Before before Twitter turned into X, Twitter was a whole thing. So there's a whole lot of different things that were changing in that format and leading there. So when I applied at Columbia, I got in, I worked my butt off, and I even one of my professors was actually one of my parents' customers at Dunkin' that I used to serve coffee to. He was my professor, and he was hard on me. Jerry was like hard, in not a bad way, in a I know you, I am coming at you because he wants me to be better. He expects so other students he expects here, he expects me to be this high because he's like, I want my other students to be as high as you, but you are on a pedestal because I know who you are and you cannot screw your school. You cannot screw this up because you're taking a second chance. So it was a big deal for me to bump into Jerry at school and be in his class. And the amount of education and like what he taught us was so in depth that people don't realize. Like when I get customers who annoy me sometimes for price, it my inner student comes out and starts kind of wanting arguing a little bit, but it doesn't. But I just like it bothers me because I'm just like the education behind this is why the pricing is this way. Yes, there's a brand name pricing, but then there's construction pricing. So a lot of education and stuff helps with that. So then going to Columbia was a thing, and then I did a study abroad program through Columbia, which made me go to London for a year.
Mm.
And in that sense, I got an internship at Ashni and Co., which is one of these multi-designer brands like AVE that was existent in London at the time. And luckily, that same year, I met my role model, Manish Malhotra.
Wow.
Basically, we'll say this, could not say a word correctly. I was like an idiot. I was dumb. I was dumbized by going, I, I like your designs and I like, because of you, I'm in fashion. I'm like,
So funny.
you think you say that to a Bollywood actor that you, I'm like, I've bumped into like actors and actresses and I'm just like, whatever, it's a famous person. But with Manish, and then same thing happened with Sabya, word vomit. Just
That's
couldn't control it. Didn't know what I was saying. So yeah, I have the opposite. Famous people, I can just be like, oh, I loved your movie. It's so great. Real role models, I cannot talk in front of. So it was such an awkward moment, but it was an amazing moment. So I worked with Manish. I got to meet him. I worked with his clothes. I worked with Shama Bhumika. I met a lot of designers that time. I met like Gaurav Gupta. I met Amit Agarwal before what Amit Agarwal is now is I met him before he became this big
wow.
to us. So I met Amit Agarwal. I've met Anita Dongre. Um, I've met Sabia. I don't know who else I've met in this industry that I have. Oh, I've met Tarun in our New York stores. I've met Tarun Talyani actually.
Wonderful. Well,
Um,
you've had a chance to kind of interact with some of the top designers
yeah,
regarding Indian fashion. You know, I think you kind of touched on this a bit, but they say you shouldn't meet your idols or your role models, and you kind of had like a kind of a initial reaction. But to people out there who are interested in fashion, what are these people like? What kind of vibes, what kind of mentality did you kind of get from them?
so with Manish and Sabia, it was very well. Sabia was a random moment meeting him in his New York store, and Manish was like a me as an intern, kind of dumb. But as you slowly work, as it's a little hard to talk to them when you're there because you're just like you don't know what you're doing. But as you keep getting through the industry, I talked to like Mir Girotra. Like I actually have like I physically have talked to him and sat there and had conversations. And it's very interesting. Like you understand who they are, you understand their personalities, you see like yeah, sometimes you don't want to meet role models, but unfortunately, you know what? You learn the truth about the industry, which is a really big thing. Because a lot of people think fashion is just catwalks and fashion shows, and I'm like, no, darling, it's not Instagram influencers getting free clothes that say that they bought them, but they didn't. It's about it's a lot of actual, like, physical work. It's a lot of passion. It's a lot of um, energy that's put into it. It's a lot of representation, a lot of, even now, the subject matter of sustainability is a big subject matter that the entire fashion industry is talking about. It's business and politics sometimes, and politics in the sense of like fashion does make political like motions in the sense of like, well, when you're wearing something like this, you're making that political notice, and sometimes it's just you dressing you. You're
Yes, absolutely.
That's your political message. Like I'm me. So it's a very interesting thing. But meeting these designers, it's just been very interesting. Like each one has their own way of working. Each one wants to, some of them are very deep dived into knowing what's going on in the industry. Some of them have maybe been so along with the industry that they're like, their teams are doing it, but they're just like, okay, great, I'm here. It, it all depends. It's very volatile, I will say. Like, in not a bad way, but it's like, you have your highs and your lows. And you're just like, you meet like some sweet, amazing people, and you meet some people who are just like, oh God, I don't ever want to work with you again. It's
Oh,
a, yeah, it's a very interesting scope. But
totally, no, totally, totally understand that.
yeah, and I'm not gonna say names because I'm not that person. But
Oh,
I will
totally, yeah,
say but I will say it's a blessing in disguise to work with all these designers
sure.
and listening to them asking if they're, and they are willing to talk to you. When you're talking to them, you just want to be like, so what do you think? What is your views? What would you do differently? How would you like, you learn how draping, how to do, how you're talking to your client, what is the calm that they're doing, like this is like zari calm, this is mirror calm, this is abla, this is blah. You learn a lot of educational stuff from them too. You learn about them, their, what was their reasoning behind the brand. You learn about their history, like have they been in fashion for their lives? Have they studied fashion? What brought them to this? Um, are like, what is the dynamics? What do you think? Do you even see the difference between this, your like sales within the US to your India to UK? Do you see like different? Do you see the audience very differently? Because a lot of designers sometimes will be like not designers, let's say general shoppers,
Mhm.
like the client, like when we go to India, when we go to these stores, they all assume everyone's the same. They don't
Yeah.
understand that we are all different. In India, they understand it, but when they go outside the scope of India, they don't think that the same Gujarati client from, let's say, Kenya, and the Gujarati client from America and the Gujarati client from Toronto, they are not the same.
Mhm, mhm,
Each one has, yeah, they're Gujarati, doesn't mean they're all going to buy the same kind of style. Your
sure.
Toronto Gujarati might be more Punjabi influence with more heavier embroidery and stuff. Your Kenyan one might be just very old school. Your Chicago one is, you never know because you
Yeah,
have to mix of
absolutely.
generation to old generation. So it's like simple Bombay style or heavy as hell. So it's like you can't judge that. Like, and even here in New York and Chicago, we've noticed this, that I have a particular kind of clientele that's looking for particular silhouettes, that have been looking particularly for Sharara Gararas. New York, they're doing well with with lengas and straight suits and this and that. And I'm like, no, here I need salwar suits, lengas. This saris aren't going as much as I thought they would, but that market's there. But it might be in Naperville. I
Yeah,
know, in fact, in Naperville will sell, maybe not in Schaumburg, but in Naperville, and
no, definitely.
that says something in itself. It's like Schaumburg's here, Naperville's here, and they're that close, but it's so different. So
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
No, definitely understand that you have different, not only do you have different geographies, you have different ethnicities within ethnicities that are making these decisions. And, buying Indian ethnic wear, whether it's for your wedding or whether it's for an event, is a big decision. It's a big thing,
Yeah.
especially for Indian women, I feel like. Talk to me about what are some of the latest trends that you are seeing in the industry. What is hot this wedding season?
Ooh, that's a really hot subject. So right now, because and I'm a really good trend watcher, I will say this. Like I actually can see what's gonna happen.
Sure.
I'm waiting literally for Sanjay Leela Bhansali's show to come out. Because I will tell you this, biggest thing we'll be hitting will be the Garara Sharara looks, the heritage looks, because first of all, with Suckleban coming out, there's going to be a massive wave of heritage.
Mhm.
Massively, brides are looking for heritage. Family, friends, and stuff will be looking for Shara Garara styles. A lot of the Punjabi clients already have, but you still tend to see that wave towards going in. Um,
That's interesting to note how media can influence the fashion trends. I'm sure after Padmava, that movie really impacted the fashion.
It impacted. I will tell you the way the jewelry scene has changed is because of Padmavat. It's all they're little things. Like I will say, like right now with outfit wise, it's gonna be this from the show. Then it's like jewelry. They'll be maybe wearing tikkas again. They're gonna maybe want to wear pasas. They're gonna wear nuts. They're gonna wear like all these little things. It's
Mhm.
gonna make a difference. I'm waiting. Like in the new song that just released today, she wore like a sequin sari.
Yeah.
That sequin sari look is gonna start slowly coming back and creeping up. While looking at other Indian designers as well, I will say majorly red and gold have been a big comeback, massively. As much as people keep going, pastels, 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 pastels have their trend and stuff, and the similar nude colors have been.
Mhm.
But a lot of brides are now asking for red and gold, white and gold. I'm slowly seeing this trend of people pushing the sari, not because it's traditional. It's like why opt for a heavy ghagra than when you can opt for a sari that you can rewear. So a
Yeah.
lot of traditional saris are looking to come back, but a lot of prints, a lot of the for women's, it's been a lot of sharagarada looks. Lehengas will never go out of style, and priestess saris are massively a big hit in general. Like different styles of that. For menswear, it's still your standard. See, with men's, it's a little weird. We don't really have a trend per se. We have different looks that we want to go for. So it's like for a man, a lot of the guys will like want to go for something more simplistic in the sense of they can reuse it, but then they want something heavy. So then it's kind of hard to break the barrier of like add some jewelry, add this. A lot of guys like sometimes mirror work. A lot of guys like thread work. A lot of guys like some guys like embroidery work. So it's a very range of different things. So menswear is different, but they do. I will say a lot of guys want to opt for the pant style versus the chudidar.
Yeah.
uh, the pant style works depending on what kind of cut of an outfit is. I still highly recommend a chudidar if you're a groom for the main look, because if your bride's heritage, you should go heritage. If your
Sure.
bride's modern, then go opt for the pant style with the sherwani. Because if you're modern and your bride's traditional, it does not look good. You guys have to slowly work together and make sure it looks
Yeah.
compatible. Like
Absolutely. I think most times than not, it's the bride who's gonna be picking the style.
it is. It goes because her outfit's a little bit more. It takes longer to be made, and a lot of brides don't realize. I'm like, you need 6 months or 4 months,
Yeah.
at least minimum
Tell
four
me about
months.
that because I remember being at your store and you were talking to some clients, and I was just interested to know, like, okay, if I have a wedding in October, I need to order by this date, that
Yeah,
date. So, tell me about how long should I be expecting? All right, if I know I have to go to a wedding this July, am I screwed yet or not?
basically. So we revert back. We work backwards from your wedding date or the event of the date. Even if it's the occasion, you can still shop with us. Um, so what I do is, if it's like, let's say it's a heavier lehenga, regardless of bridal or non-bridal, minimum 4 months. So I work, let's say August, we're already kind of in debt. We're already kind of backwards. There are some designers I can get who can do it in time, but the reason why we say like we're at a deadline is because we order it a month and a half before the event, so you at least have half a month in case of delivery issues or delays, and then the other month of just tailoring. You might want to fit it. Everyone's like, even if you say a month, nobody's gonna be like, okay, came right away. I'm gonna come right away to get my tailoring. They'll take another 2 weeks to show up. So
Yeah,
it's like because they're all busy. Everyone works. Well,
absolutely.
not free. So we understand that. So we try to give them enough time because you don't want to get the outfit the week before your wedding. You want it at least 2 months to a month and a half before. So some designers we do urgent who can do good, who have good turnaround times. Some require at least 6 months. Some
Mhm.
require 4 months. And all depends on the outfit. Now, if it's not a lehenga, it's like an outfit, that can take 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
Menswear can take anywhere from 2 to 4 months. It depends. Sherwanis take at least 3 months, and it depends on what kind of sherwani. General menswear, 2 3 months. You'll get it in time for July. I will say this. And the other thing is, with menswear, we try to even at least accommodate the sizes. That like what we are doing is we're sitting here, we're watching what's our what's the average body size we see that comes in. Is it it's like men's? Is it like a 42, 44? For women, we go according to the bust size and see what they are. And it's men's a little bit more easier because you tend to it's like the suiting sizes. Women's, it doesn't work with small, medium, large, extra large all the time because everyone's body type is different, and we
Sure.
respect that. And we accommodate as much as possible to everyone and every body type. So even if you are someone who's looking for something last minute, we try our hardest to go through our store, New York store, to see if we have it available,
Sure.
if we can get it tailored in time. If you give us more, at least what we try to do is educate. Like saying, I have a client who said, "Okay, this time it's not working for me, but I will come back because I have another wedding in January." I'm like, "Great, come back. Let's go through what you like. Any design you like, any designer you like that we work with, any outfits, we will work with you and make sure it reaches in time, so you don't have to." Pardon me. Sorry about that. You
It's
don't have
okay.
to
End of the
worry.
day.
At the end of the day, I know you don't have to worry about not fitting in it because we don't want you to come in the store being like, we're not size inclusive. We're very size inclusive.
Sure.
Pieces come from the models directly from India. That is why we have some issues, but we try our best to accommodate everyone and make them feel this will look nice on you. This is how it will lay on you, because no matter how petite you are or how big you are, there's not everything's gonna fit. It's
Got it.
and it's like, and I have like clients who are maybe smaller who can't fit in something, and I'm like, they're like, can we tailor this? I'm like, it's too big to tailor it. It it just won't be possible. It'll drape very badly.
No,
So
yeah,
we
totally understand that. Totally,
so
totally.
that which is good, which just makes everyone feel better going great. It's not just a me size problem; it's a all size problem. But we work with everybody, and we tried our best, and we like if depending on sizes, sometimes New York might have a size available. If they do, like I had a client who was looking for a particular size, a particular color. I didn't have it. New York had it, and I sent it. I sent the pictures. It didn't work out. And one client, it did work out. They contacted New York and they bought it. And it
Okay.
worked out. So we have that whole system of it's like going to Nordstrom and like, do you have this in a size medium still? It's like not here, but maybe Oakbrook does. Let me
Yeah,
check.
exactly, exactly. And funny enough, one of my first jobs was at Nordstrom's when you said
You're like, this sounds exactly what we did in like Nordstrom. I'm like, yep.
exactly,
We literally,
exactly.
we're kind of like, it's a little old schoolish, but we're still
Well,
like,
I'm waiting for the day when obviously you have the AVE in Chicago. I want an AVE in the Dallas-Fort Worth and Dallas-Fort Worth, and then the Austin area because I think that the diaspora out here would love that stuff. You
yeah,
see, we Austin is always like the third child, the middle child between Dallas and Houston, so we don't get as much. But definitely would love to see some of that come out here, and maybe you guys Ave can do like a road show and bring all you guys' stuff out here. That'd be exciting. Um,
definitely.
Speaking of road shows, I know again you guys are having a lot of designers coming through the store. Tell me what's coming next for you guys and what some of these trunk shows.
Oh, so that's a lot happening right now. So this weekend we have our jewelry trunk show with Rima Designs. Next weekend we have our Shamal Bhumika trunk show. Unfortunately, they won't be able to make it because it's when like Lakme happened. A lot of stuff is going on in India right now that is just
Mhm.
it's just too insane. So they won't be able to make it this year. Then we have a bridal trend event happening in right after that. That same weekend, Shamal Bhumika, we have a bridal trend event where anyone who spend if you buy the tickets, which are $15, you get $15 store credit given back to you just on any purchase overall in the store. So you get to use a $15 credit while buying this event, and we're having panelists with me, Makeup by Karishma, and Megha Patel from Holly Bolly for events. So we're going to discuss bridal trends, questions and answers regarding like makeup and style and how to plan a wedding and things you may like, even just general questions like for curious minds, because you don't have to be a bride. You can just be someone who might be wanting to know what's going on. You may want to know what's happening in the industry. And this is something interesting that I don't think anyone has ever done really. And we're going to bring more of those kind of events soon with other local vendors and stuff because I want to build that community aspect here.
Absolutely.
We have Mir Girothar coming in June, and then for now that is we will slowly quiet down. We do have our sample sales still slightly extended till this weekend, so we're
Wonderful.
quietly selling it. So if, I know a lot of people are looking for something for Eid, definitely this is the time because you won't get prices like these after that. So
Wonderful.
it's a lot of things are happening. It's just nonstop.
Yeah, and tell me about what new collections we can be expecting for in store at least. I know if people want to get something custom made, they can definitely do that. But what are you guys going to be rotating inside your store itself?
So right now we're actually expecting we're expecting a lot new, like about 20 pieces coming in from Arjun Duggal for menswear.
Wonderful.
We've just added, like I said, we just had the Tamanna show, so we have a lot of new shararas, kurara, kurta sets available. We have just gotten some new Gorang lehengas in. We are now even expecting with the Shama Bhumika trunk show, we're getting heritage look bridal lehengas, menswear outfits for the not for even the non-bridal. Then we even have with the jewelry trunk show, we have a lot of pieces, especially for girls who are looking for prom. We're even though we're an Indian store, you'll be surprised. We have a lot of cute jewelry that's not Indian for your prom day, to just general modern looks, to Desi bridal, to men's jewelry as well. So we have a lot of options coming in there. And then yeah, that's I think, and then Mayor Girota, I'm waiting to find out what's happening because a lot of stuff is slowly going to be coming soon. So there's just a lot happening back to back here that
Wonderful.
it's just a lot of stuff, and then slowly we'll be changing up the selection with the New York soon in like the summer, because at one point we're all gonna like be like, okay, let's switch it up a little bit. So things will change as the summer comes, and then we will pick up again for bridal season starting from like the fall.
Perfect. Well, that's wonderful to hear. You guys not only just got in some fresh collection, you guys will be getting a lot of things in store, a lot of
Yeah,
jewelry, a lot of new dresses for Eid, for weddings, for any of your events. And if you don't find what is at AVE Chicago, they will work with you and maybe connect you with AVE New York. And I think the biggest part I've noticed with Amit and his team, one, they're very friendly, they're very kind, but they come in with a consultative approach. They want what's best for you and what you want, and that's why I think these guys are so successful. These guys are back to back booked in appointments, so definitely you guys go meet with them, go see what they're about, go understand what Ave is, because it is much more than just another boutique in the area. It is a collection. And you have now a door open in Schaumburg that hasn't been opened before, and this is exciting. As someone who grew up in Schaumburg, I think just a store like Ave opening up in Schaumburg talks a lot about the evolution of the community and where we've come through so far. And so, first of all, Amit, thanks for taking the risk on Schaumburg. Thanks for bringing your investment here. And secondly, I'm really just excited to see how you bring your knowledge and your taste to the Chicagoland community. I think that's a really big thing. So we're really excited to have you. We're excited. We're thankful that you chose Desi Junction to be able to share your story, and we want to keep working with you throughout your tenure.
definitely. No, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the support, and especially with local community, it makes a huge difference because we are like, I'm a local person, so it's like even though the brand may not be local sometimes, we want to make you feel like this is your go-to store. We want to make you guys feel like this is something different you stepped into. We're not trying to bash on anybody else, but it's just like we're gonna stand out. We are gonna stand out a little different because we're doing something completely different from everybody else. Because everybody has their own methods of doing something, but we are always going to be wanting to be doing something a little different, and I always want to. And I think the best part is by having the education system of a Western brands and growing up in a local brand, it makes a huge difference by having someone in the community stepping foot and making noise, and people going, oh wow, I didn't know this existed, and slowly, like, creating that space where people want to walk in and always see what's happening over here.
That is so wonderful. Well, Amit, so far we have gotten a great feedback and a great response from Ave, from our listeners, and we are really excited to see where you guys go further. Thank you once again for sharing your story. I'm sure a lot of people can take away a lot, and we hope to talk to you again very soon.
Definitely. No, thank you so much, Ankit. I appreciate your time.
All right, perfect. Thank you guys for all tuning in. Go check out Ave in Schaumburg. It is right by Bombay Chopsticks and Annapurna, right across the road from Patel Brothers. Phenomenal location, phenomenal people. This is Ankit Parmar.
And please give a round of applause to Amit for this beautiful, beautiful space that he has put together.
So guys, I just wanted to show you a little bit more of some of the beautiful designs and dresses that AVE has right now. So AVE is essentially a collection of multiple of the best fashion designers in India. And if you can just see here the work on some of these dresses, the coloring, the embroidery is just absolutely phenomenal. And one thing about AVE that is really special is that they will, fit your needs. So if you want a certain piece of jewelry or you want a certain design, they will work with designers in India, collaborate with them, and get you what you need. Wedding season is coming up. I know Navratri is coming up, Eid is coming up, so now's the perfect time to book your appointment at AVE. Come check it out and meet the wonderful staff. They're very friendly, they're phenomenal in welcoming you here. Amit is one of the most knowledgeable individuals I have met in Indian fashions, and that too being born here, so that is just absolutely phenomenal. And we're very excited for this business to come here, so please book your appointment here at AVE, and we're very excited to have them here. Just wrapped up here at AVE. It was a phenomenal 2 days last night. We had a little bit of a celebration party style of grand opening, and today we had an official village style of a ribbon cutting and official attendance by the mayor. It was an absolutely wonderful event. As you can see behind me, we still have some people lingering. We have some people socializing, mingling. But what I really wanted to emphasize is how beautiful this location is. I wanted to just go and show you some of these dresses. It is absolutely amazing. These designs, I don't think you can find them anywhere else in Chicago. So you guys have to check out AVE.